What's going on, guys? Super Insane 18 here, and today I am bringing you a Superheavy Samurai deck profile as well as a small combo tutorial at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I will be coming out with a fully dedicated combo tutorial probably sometime next week. I'm going to do what I'm calling Sneak Week this week, where I bring you guys a bunch of deck profiles with new stuff from the sneak peek of Cyberstorm Access, so let's go ahead and jump on in. This is what a lot of people are thinking is going to be the best deck. I've done very little testing, but in the testing that I've done, I've definitely figured out what I want to play and how I want to play it. Let's go ahead and show you guys the build. And before we get into the video, I just want to remind you guys that the insane hieroglyph playmat that you're seeing on screen right now is currently available for pre-order at only $29.99. Definitely a steal. A lot of people's mats go for more than that, so make sure you check it out. Make sure you get yours before they run out. Go ahead and go to insanetcg.com. That is insanetcg.com on the screen and in the description down below. Make sure to pick up your insane hieroglyph playmat today. So the number one reason that people think that this is going to be the best deck of the upcoming format is because the first 12 cards that I'm going to show you are essentially the exact same card. They are a one-card starter that gets you into a ridiculous end board, and they all pretty much get you into the exact same line of play, albeit just a little bit sequenced differently. So we're going to start things out. We have 3 copies of Superheavy Samurai Motorbike. This just discards to search a Super Heavy, and it is a level 2 tuner, which will come up in the combo. Then we have 3 copies of Superheavy Samurai Prodigy Wakaushi. This is one of the best starters because it just places itself, in the scale. You activate it, place another scale, and then summon it, and the scale that you place is able to just search you cards, and it's really, really strong. You'll see it in the combo. Then we have our Superheavy Samurai Soul Piercer. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that Secrets of Eternity came out in like 2014, which was before Yu-Gi-Oh! Realized that cards that were not once per turn were incredibly broken. So this card is a not once per turn. Anytime it is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add any Superheavy Samurai monster from your deck to your hand, and that gets abused immensely. I think cycling it between like 5 and 6 times. So yeah, definitely really good because you can just link it off into the link 1, you can synchro it out. Like, you're going to see so many different ways that we're going to abuse this in the combo. And then the next one is the 3 copies of Superheavy Samurai Wagon. Even though it's a little bit different than the others, it still gets you into the full combo. Because it searches a Super Heavy Soul, you're able to search for the Soul Piercer, use the Soul Piercer's other effect to equip it to the wagon, and then you link away the wagon, which will get you the Soul Piercer search, and it's just pretty much these 12 cards do the exact same thing. So yeah, on to the rest of them. We have 2 copies of Big Benki. This is a searcher for a Super Heavy Soul monster, as long as you control a Super Heavy. This is the pendulum that you're going to place in your other scale with the effect of Prodigy, and it's really strong. I honestly considered bumping it to 3 because there were a couple games in tournament yesterday where a third one would have been really clutch. Cards like Ghost Ogre are really strong in this format because they can just pop the pendulum scale, and pendulum scales have the same ruling as continuous spell cards. They have to remain face up on the field to resolve, so you won't get your search if this gets ogred. And while it is once per turn, I did lose a game yesterday because I just got ogred twice and didn't have a third one to continue, so considered bumping it to 3, but not really 100% sure. And then we have a absolute ton of one-ofs. We have the Superheavy Samurai Soul Piercer. This is essentially just a free special summon from your deck. You equip it to a Super Heavy you control, then you contribute the Super Heavy it's equipped to summon one from deck. We have the Superheavy Samurai Scales. This, when it is special summoned, you can target one in the graveyard and special summon it, so you can use this to reborn something like the Soul Piercer, and then when the Soul Piercer leaves, you'll just get another search. We have 1 copy of Samurai Stealthy. This is pretty much just a free special summon, but it actually does have a useful other effect as well, being able to set a spell from your opponent's graveyard, and then when it's used, when it leaves the field, it's banished. But you'll be able to pretty much steal their spells and traps since you're not able to use any of your own. And then we have 1 copy of the Soul Gaia Booster. This is also just another free special summon. You equip it to one you control, and then you can special summon it. So the entire point of this deck is to just absolutely flood the field, and using some other degenerate cards, we're able to set up some pretty disgusting boards. So now we have 1 copy of Ancient Gear Box. This is for you to search off of the Ancient Gear Ballista Link monster, and the reason that you do that is because when you add it from your deck to your hand, you can search for the Infinitrack Tunneler. And Infinitrack Tunneler is essentially just a Pot of Avarice. You can banish it from your graveyard, target 5 of your monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them back into the deck, and draw 2. And since we play 4 one-ofs, we can just put all 4 of those one-ofs back into the deck and pretty much just get to do everything again on the next turn. We have one copy of Spell Canceller. This is something that you can add off of the Link Monster Cleefort Genius, because when you pen summon at least 2 or more, you can search for a level 5 or higher machine. So Spell Canceller is a really good card, definitely really like super impactful. It makes it so your end board can't lose to things like Dark Ruler and stuff like that. Yeah, and then the other one that we play is the King Regulus. Not only can you search this off of the Cleefort Genius, but we are also playing the Spriggans and Sargus package because it's really easy to make rank 4s. So we'll go ahead and show you guys that. Not sure what combo I'm showing you at the end of this video. I'm going to show you guys an insane combo, but again, have a dedicated combo video coming out next week. That's it for the actual monsters. The rest of the deck is just hand traps. We have 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This card is insane, this format, being able to just destroy either the pendulum scales when they activate their effects or just get rid of other cards on the field. Like, it's a really strong card, guys. Go ahead, trust me. Definitely throw this into whatever deck you're playing. Probably the best hand trap of the format. Maybe second best only to Droll. We are playing 3 copies of Psyframe Gear Gamma, and of course the 1 brick with the driver that we have to play. This is because Ogre hurts so bad that we want to make sure that we have an out to it, especially if we're going like activate our pendulum scale and then they try to Ogre it. We don't have anything on board, we can go ahead and Gamma the Ogre, we get to resolve our pendulum, and yeah, it's really strong. 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. Like I said, this might be the best hand trap, might be tied with Ogre for the best hand trap. It's really impactful against not only Superheavy Samurai, but other decks as well. Kind of hurts Pearly, really hurts Kashtira. Droll is just an insane card. We have 2 copies of Effect Veiler. I kind of want to bump this to 3, but instead of the 3rd Veiler, we did decide on 1 copy of Nibiru. Because this deck is a 1-card combo, we figured that we could probably open this, plus we're drawing multiple times in our turn, whether we go like the Skull Dread route or if we end our turn with the Infinitrack, we're able to just draw a bunch of cards, so chances of seeing it are good enough that we can justify it at 1, but the most important reason that it's only at 1 is because the last 2 cards I decided to play are the Kurikara Div Incarnate. This is my personal tech because I had a lot of trouble going second into established boards, and honestly, I just lose every dice roll. So having a card like this to be able to break a board is really insane. But that's the main deck at 40 cards. As you can see, it is nothing but monsters. Obviously, that is the downside of Superheavy Samurais. You're not allowed to play any spells or traps, but yeah, let's go ahead and show you guys the extra. So for my extra deck, I'm doing something a little bit not standard, and I'll go over that when we get there, but let's go ahead and show you guys what we have. We have 3 synchros starting things out. We have the Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon, part of the combo. It's really strong, being able to reborn something like your motorbike and then just going for a Baron. We have the Borreload Savage Dragon. There is a combo that ends on 3 Omni Negates. This is one of them, and it's just really strong. And then obviously the Baron, like I said, we can make it off of the Excel Synchro. Another really cool thing that you can do is if you do have to use your Gamma, Gamma and Driver go into the Synchro. Stardust, the Stardust reborns the Gamma, Gamma and Stardust into Baron, and then you just have a really easy, quick Baron. But that's it for the synchros. On to the XYZs, we are playing 1 copy of Baguska. This is for if we get stopped. It is really easy to put 2 level 4s on board, so if they're able to prevent us from doing our full Wombo combo, we can at least hope to sit on a Baguska, and with this format, Baguska feels really strong. And then the last of the XYZs are going to be our Zeus package with the Merrymaker, the Sargus, and the Zeus itself. Never had to make Zeus at all in my testing, never really came up, but these guys definitely do come up, especially if you want to do the Spell Canceller route. You need to back it up with some Omni Negates, and this is how you're going to get your Regulus, because if you're searching the Spell Canceller off the Cleefort, then you're not searching the Regulus, so yeah. And then onto the links. Unfortunately, I only own 1 of the Superheavy Samurai Scarecrow, but we do want to play, or Scarecrow, but we do want to play a second, so gonna get my hands on a second. Wasn't able to play it in tournament, obviously, since I didn't have it, but having a second is very clutch. In the meantime, I've just been shuffling it back every single time with the Infinitrack, but you definitely want to play 2 of it. We have 1 copy of Ancient Gear Ballista. This is just so that you can get your box. The box will get the Infinitrack, and it gives you a ton of blessing. We have the IP Masquerina. This is just good generic. Sometimes you need to end your board on it depending on what your opponent does to you. The Cleefort Genius, which is obviously part of the combo, lets you search for your level 5 or higher machines. Your Spell Canceller, your Regulus, doesn't really matter whichever one you need to go for. Then we have our Nightmare Unicorn. This is for the IP play, obviously. And then the part that is not necessarily standard is I've seen a lot of people playing either Appaloosa or Saryuja Skull Dread. I'm actually playing both. And the reason that I'm playing both is because I think it really depends on what you're up against, which one of these is better. If you want to go for, if you want to go for the 3 Omni Negate play, you're also going to end with a 3 Material Appaloosa as well. So that's a total of 6 negates with 6 cards in hand. And that could be really strong depending on the deck that you're playing. Like if you're going into the Superheavy Samurai Mirror, that's obviously better than a Spell Canceller, because all Spell Canceller really does stop the scales. I mean, yeah, that's kind of really impactful, still really good, but I feel like I would just rather have the more negates for the monster effects. And then if you're going into something like Pearly or anything else that's super spell heavy, you want to go for the Skull Dread, because the Skull Dread is going to be able to just special summon out your Spell Canceller. And a little bit of a spoiler as well, in the side deck we are playing Jinzo, so if you're against a trap deck, you side out the Spell Canceller for the Jinzo. This can just summon the Jinzo, same concept. You search it off the Cleafor Genius, summon it, and it's pretty much just game. But yeah, that's what's really not standard, is playing both. I've seen people play one or the other, but I think both is really impactful. Let's go ahead and show you guys that combo. Okay guys, so the combo that I decided to show you is the Spell Canceller route. I feel like that is more impactful, even though it ends on less negates. The inability to use spells from your opponent is very, very strong, and obviously prevents you from losing to something like a Dark Ruler, so we're going to go ahead and show you guys that one. It is a 1.5 card combo, the half being a discard, which is why we have the Psyframe Driver, and the 1 card can be any one of those first 12 that I showed you. The Motorbike, the Prodigy, the Soul Piercer, or the Wagon. It just slightly changes the sequencing of how you do the combo, but let's show you guys how we do this one. So we're going to start things off. We are going to use the effect of Motorbike, discarding it to add us our copy of Prodigy from our deck to our hand. We can take the Prodigy, activate it in our Pendulum scale, and use its effect to place the Big Benki in the other scale and summon itself out. Now we want to make sure that we leave these 2 zones open, because those are the 2 possible zones that the Link monster can point to, and we do need that zone open for future bits of the combo. But since we control a Super Heavy, we can use the Big Benki to search for a Super Heavy Samurai Soul, so we're going to go ahead and grab Soul Piercer. We still have our normal summon, so we're going to go ahead and normal summon out the Soul Piercer, and we're going to immediately link it off into our copy of Scarecrow. Now, because the Soul Piercer left the field, we can use its effect to search any Super Heavy Samurai. We're going to go ahead and search for the Soul Peacemaker, and this will be very, very impactful later on, because it'll allow us to summon one from the deck. Now we can use the Scarecrow effect. We're going to go ahead and discard our Driver, or whatever your discard happens to be, and we're going to go ahead and resummon out our Soul Piercer. Now, Soul Piercer, like I said in the profile, is not a once per turn effect, so we're going to go ahead and Synchro Summon, because Prodigy is a tuner. It goes to the top of the extra deck. We're just going to put it to the side for now, because I need cards off the extra deck, but we're going to go ahead and Synchro Summon into our copy of Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. Now, this creates a pretty big chain link. We've got chain link 1 of the Excel Synchro. That's going to reborn our Motorbike. We have chain link 2 of the Soul Piercer, because again, the search is not once per turn, and chain link 3 of the Prodigy. Because the Prodigy was used as synchro material, we can go ahead and place it face up in our scale. We're going to go ahead and resolve our search. This is going to get us for our copy of Stealthy, and then this is going to go ahead and reborn out our Motorbike. Now, because Motorbike is a level 2 tuner, we're going to go ahead and use the Motorbike and the Excel Synchro, and we're going to go ahead and make our Baron. So now we have our Baron incredibly early. I believe that was the 6th summon, so it's still technically susceptible to nib, but you have enough to keep going if you get nibbed anyway, because of both of these, but now we're safe, so we don't need to worry about it. We're going to go ahead and use the effect of Soul Peacemaker, equipping it to our Scarecrow, and then we can use the other effect to tribute the Scarecrow, which is going to send itself to the graveyard as well, and that's going to summon out a Scales from our graveyard. Now, from our deck, my bad. When the Scales is summoned from the deck, we can target one in the graveyard and special summon it. We're going to go ahead and target the Soul Piercer and summon it back. Now, again, the Soul Piercer is not once per turn, meaning that when we get rid of it, we can just search again. Since we don't have any spells or traps in the graveyard, we're going to use the effect of Stealthy to special summon itself, and then we're going to link the Soul Piercer and the Stealthy, and this is going to go into our copy of Ancient Gear Ballista. We're going to activate the Ballista as Chainlink 1 to add an Ancient Gear, and we're going to activate the Soul Piercer as Chainlink 2 to add another Super Heavy. We're going to go ahead and add the Soul Gaia booster off of the Piercer, and then we're going to go ahead and add the Ancient Gear box off of the Ballista. Now, the effective Ancient Gear box will activate because it was added to our hand. We can add a Earth Machine with 500 attack or defense. We're going to go ahead and add our copy of Infinitrack Tunneler. So now we have a lot of cards in our hand to work with. We're going to go ahead and use the effect of Soul Gaia Booster. We're going to equip it to our Scales, and then we can use its other effect while equipped to go ahead and special summon it. Now we have 2 level 4s on board. We're going to go ahead and overlay both of them into our copy of Merrymaker, and then on top of the Merrymaker, we can go into our copy of Sargus. Now, Sargus is going to be able to search us for a Therion, so we're going to activate its effect and add our copy of Therion King Regulus. What we're going to do here is we're going to use the Regulus targeting the Soul Piercer, and we're going to summon it out to our side of the field by equipping the Soul Piercer. Next, what we're going to do is we can use the effect of Baron to pop a card that we control, to pop the Soul Piercer and activate the Soul Piercer effect to search one more time. That's going to go ahead and search us for our copy of Wagon. Here we can take the Sargus and the Ballista. We're going to go ahead and link both of those off into our copy of Cleafort Genius, and then now we're set to Pendulum Summon the 3 monsters that we have. Because we have a Scale 1 and a Scale 8, we can summon all 3 of these, so we're going to go ahead and summon the Wagon, the Tunneler, and the Ancient Gearbox. And then because the Cleafort Genius is on field, since we summoned 2 or more monsters, we can add a level 5 or higher machine. That's going to allow us to add our copy of Spell Canceller. Now what we do is we take all 4 of these monsters, the Genius and the 3 monsters that we summoned, and we're going to go ahead and link that into a copy of Saryuja Skulldread. Saryuja Skulldread's effect is going to activate on summon, which is going to draw us 4 cards and put 3 back. These do not matter because we already have everything that we need for our combo, so we're going to just go ahead and say that we put these back. Keep one of them, hopefully it's a hand trap, really does not matter. But then we can use the Skulldread effect to special summon a monster from our hand. We're going to go ahead and special summon out the Spell Canceller, which will also activate the Skulldread effect, giving it an extra 300, making it 2100 attack, making it a little bit harder for our opponent to out. Now, we used only 1.5 cards, and we have 1 left, so now we have 4 cards in our hand total. But to end our turn, before we go ahead and pass, we're going to use the effect of Infinitrack Tunneler. We're going to banish it from our graveyard, and this is going to allow us to put 5 back and draw 2. The 5 that we're going to put back are going to be all of our important one-ofs. We have our Soul Gaia, our Scales, our Stealthy, our Peacemaker, and the Superheavy Samurai Scarecrow. So these will go back to the extra deck, these will go back to the main deck. We shuffle up, we draw 2 more cards. So now we have the initial 3 we started out with, 3 more cards, 6 cards in hand, double Omni Negate, plus no spells, and full guaranteed follow-up for our next turn. And there you guys have it. That is going to be my super heavy deck profile and combo tutorial. Again, fully dedicated combo video coming out next week. Do you guys think this is going to be the new best deck? Obviously, it's very, very strong and very, very consistent. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Remember that if you want to see the side deck for this, it is on my Patreon for the lowest tier. So for just $1, you can not only support the channel, but you can also see the amazing side decks that I have for the deck profiles that I put out. If you liked it, you know the deal. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment, share with friends, and maybe consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.